Good morning. Welcome to Second Parish, Unitarian Universalist. It is a delight to see all of you here this morning, as well as all this wonderful produce. We're packing the pews, actually bags, for the food pantry after church today. And it is delightful to see so many hands. And I think maybe more will come too. Would anybody like to make an announcement? Susan, come on up. I know, Barbara, it's very confusing. Nobody's sitting where they usually do.
Good morning. I just want to say that Old Shep Church down the street is looking for a few people to join their cooking teams. They cook once a quarter for Father Bill's, and their teams on Monday and Thursday. And I'm planning to do this. If anybody wants to join me, I think it would be fun. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Susan. Ardith, come on up.
Hi there. Just a reminder that today is the second annual Second Parish holiday party at my house from 4 to 7-ish. Gayla can always stay later. And, and I hope to see you all there. And if you have any questions, you can see me at coffee hour. Thanks.
Thank you, Ardith, and thank you for hosting. It's lucky, the second parish. Pam, you had an announcement. Good.
Good morning. On New Year's Eve morning, we won't have our regular service. We're all going to meet in Cushing Hall for a pancake breakfast. So please let me know, either in coffee hour or in my email, which is linked in the weekly update, how many of you will be attending so we can make sure we have enough pancakes. Thank you.
I must say I'm really excited about the pancake breakfast. In Cushing Hall, we'll have lots of good things to eat, maybe a little time to talk about what we're saying goodbye to in 2023 and what we look forward to in 2024, but mainly we'll have fun. Are there any other announcements? Julie? Wow, lots of good announcements today.
Good morning. I want to thank everybody that worked on the poinsettias, getting them all set up and trying not to make Stephanie trip when she went up there to give her sermon. I also do need some help after church, maybe before or after we pack the pews, watering all these, because there's just a lot of them, and so they need a good dosing. And so if anybody is interested in helping with that, if you could let me know, please. And I think that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. And I would just like to echo that thanks. When it was first described to me how they were going to put the poinsettias up this year, I had visions that I'd be peering through the poinsettias out at you. And I think it looks gorgeous. So I'm just thrilled. And I hope I've got all the names. I thank Julie and John and Lynn and Jane. And is that it? Yeah. Well, thank you all very much. Lou. Okay, I get it. Terrific. We raised $911 for Dove last Sunday. That's marvelous. It feels good to help them. Thank you so much for your generosity, and Lou for keeping track of our generosity. Any other announcements? I have a few other things to mention. One, I did mention we're going to be packing the pews afterwards, after the service today. After our coffee hour in Cushing Hall, which is, again, a labor of love because we are not able to use the sink in Cushing Hall or the dishwasher, which is one of the reasons why we have paper goods. And that's because of work that's being done to renovate the bathrooms. Also, if anybody is alarmed at hearing a beeping from the front closet, that's another effect of what's happening down cellar. Nothing's wrong, it's just insistent. So we'll all get practice in tuning that out. Today at 4 o'clock, we'll have a service here in the sanctuary entitled Light for Long Nights. It is about a 45-minute service. for anybody who just wants to have some quiet at Christmas time. It will be a service of contemplation and reflection, and it honors those people who have concerns more than joys at this time of year. Also, next Sunday, Christmas Eve day, we will have a service in Cushing Hall in the morning. It will be circle worship, and it will be, again, a shortened service, but Mark will be there with his music. And one of the things that we'll be hearing is a wonderful version of the Christmas story that NPR's Scott Simon wrote, which is really quite good. And it's a bring your own coffee and treats if you want treats. Very informal. If you came in your pajamas, it would be just fine. So please feel free, if you have time, Christmas Eve morning to join us. And then remember that at 5 o'clock next Sunday, we have, have our traditional Christmas Eve service with the readings of the lessons about the Christmas story from the Bible and some wonderful music. Finally, if you have a joy or concern today, please remember to write it on one of the index cards in the pews, and the ushers will bring them forward and we will share them later. If there are no other announcements, our service will begin. Now is the time to free the heart. Let all intentions and worries stop. Free the joy inside the self. Awaken to the wonder of your life. Let us rise in body or spirit as we are able and join together in singing hymn number 235 in the gray hymnal, Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly, just as we have decked the sanctuary with greens. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, number 235.
Tis the season to be
Please be seated. Diane, could I ask you to please come forward and light the chalice and then the Advent candles? And thank you for doing so. We do not have pulpit candles, so I think you'll need to use the red lighter for starters. Yeah. As she lights the chalice first, let's say together the covenant of Second Parish, the promise we make to each other every week about our meeting and work together, with love for each other and with respect for each person's search for truth. We unite in the Spirit of Jesus for the worship of God and the service of our neighbors. And now Diane is lighting the Advent candles. We have already in the past weeks lit the candle of love, the candle of hope, and the candle of joy. And this morning we light the candle of peace. So all 4 candles are lit. If that worries you, because it's only the 18th, remember that we are not meeting in the sanctuary on the 24th until 5 o'clock. And at that service, we will light the center candle, which is the candle for Jesus' birthday. Thank you, Diane, for lighting it. Lighting the candle of peace, may we remember that a world that values love is a world that offers hope and is always open to joy, so that the peace of mutual respect and service is ever present. And let us hold these qualities of love, of hope, of joy, of peace in our celebration of the season. Your responsive reading you'll find in the order of service. It's taken from A Circle of Quiet, written by Madeleine L'Engle, who some of you may identify with the book A Wrinkle in Time. And she has written many books that are quite wonderful. Your part is in bold-faced italics. An infinite question is often destroyed by finite answers. To define everything is to annihilate much that gives us laughter and joy. May I invite the children to please come forward to the front pew for Time for All Ages. Here y'all come. And Molly Stevens, I'm going to ask you if you would pull out that microphone, and if one of the children wants to say something special, if you just hold it in front of their mouth. Thank you. Well, good morning, all of you. I feel like you're in another time zone because I'm way up here on the pulpit. Do you know why I'm still sitting up here? Anybody know? Molly knows. How come? Because my back hurts. Yep, you're absolutely right. And it helps a bit to sit in this chair. And I'm sitting on special pillows today that Mrs. Burdine brought. And one of them has all her grandchildren's names on them. So I'm sitting on her grandchildren. How about that? Well, I'm glad you laughed, because what I want to talk with you, hey, are you comfy? Because we can scooch together. Let's scooch together, okay? Make room for one more. There we are. That's good. You can sit right next to Caroline and Whitney. Brooke, that's okay, right? Okay, good. Oh, I'm so glad you're there. Woo, look at you all. Nice to see you. Hands up if you like to laugh. You like to laugh. You guys like to laugh too. What makes you laugh? What would make you laugh? Molly?
When Dada tickles my armpits.
When Dada tickles your armpits, okay. Tickling makes us laugh. What else? Anybody have something else that makes them laugh? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Violet.
Something is funny.
Ah, very wise. When something is funny, then we laugh. Yes, I think that makes a lot of sense. What if, when you left church today and you got outside, it was raining M&Ms? Would any of you laugh? You might. Maybe not. Okay. What if you looked out on Main Street and a police car went by and it was being driven by a kangaroo? I think some of you would laugh, right? What if all of a sudden I jumped up from the chair and swung on the chandelier and swung over to the balcony and sang a hymn? I think you'd laugh too. Some of the things that make us laugh are things that are unexpected. But there's other things that make us laugh. Sometimes things that make us laugh is the fact that laughter is contagious. This is a tiny toy that I have. It's one of my favorite toys. Somebody gave it to me when I was very sad. And she said, squeeze it and you won't be sad. You want me to squeeze it? You can't help but laugh when you hear other people laughing. So I thought today we might try to do something that's really not very hard, which is to make the grown-ups laugh. They're really good at laughing. They are really good at smiling and laughing. And Gayla brought something special for Time for All Ages, and Lee and Sam Bam are going to show it to you, and it might make them laugh and you laugh.
Hi, kids. Hello. You can call me Sam Bam Rudolph today. Whoopsie doopsie. Yep, I've got my special antlers that you all can have a ring and try to get a ring on my antler if you want. That could be fun.
Oh, let's
That
see.
might make people laugh, right, Steph?
Yeah, let's
Uh-oh.
see.
There's my. Can you get that? I'm falling apart. That's funny. Just alone, huh? That I'm losing my parts. That could be. It's not what you expect, so okay. You can laugh at me. It's all right. I know it's all in good jest, in love. Oh dear, they're laughing at me, Red Steph.
Sam, you must have too big a head.
Oh, dear, it's such a good sport. Oh, my love is falling out of my head. Yep. Where'd that go? Well, what do you think? Should we pass out the ring?
Yeah, would anybody like to try to get a ring on the
Take a
antler?
ring if you'd like. If we run out, would you like one? You get the nose?
Goes the nose. Well, that's okay. We can take turns.
We'll take turns, yes. When you're done your turn, we'll just pass one to Teddy and Rose. And if you'd like to try one too, Teddy? Okay, so
And Molly needs one too. Yeah.
Let's see. I'll stand over here. You can stand over there and try to, or try like this maybe. Just I'll come right up to you, and you can try to throw one. Here, let me have my nose and get the full effect. There we go. Here you go, Caroline. Try and get it on. Ooh,
Oh, almost.
So close. You want to try, honey? Try to throw? Yay, you got my head. Good job. Maybe we can give these to the kids at the end of the row. Mom, who didn't get a turn. All right.
Molly, you got more jobs today.
Yeah, we need nice throw. There you go, Brooke. A little harder. Oh, so close, Ty.
That was super
Violet, let's go. Let's do it. Let's see it.
Yeah.
Oh, so close. Wow, Mikey, so close. Come on, you can do it, Nolan. No, you almost got it. Come on. Molly, you got one? Nice job, Teddy. Nice try. Molly. Come on, Molly, you can do it. Oh, hey, you made the grown-ups laugh, Molly. You did it. Ready, Rose? You want to turn? You don't want to turn? You don't have to. You want to try to throw?
Try, throw it.
No, no. She's going to throw. You got it on my head. It's like a halo. Thanks, Rose. That was funny.
Okay. Hey, could I try wearing the antlers?
Oh, you want to try?
Yeah. And let's see. Maybe 2 or 4 kids could come up the stairs and see if you can throw the circle onto the antlers when I wear them. You think? Oh, I know Violet wants to do it, and I bet she's going to do it real well. I'll just set it on my head, Lee. Don't worry. Yeah, because I can hold it.
Oh, okay. It's a timing mark.
Yeah. All right. Here you go. The Rev Rudolph Steph. Okay.
Try.
Who's going to try?
Come on up. Come on up. Come on up.
Can you do it?
There you go. Mal.
Where am I standing?
By the poinsettias.
Ty.
Ready? On your mark?
Hey, kids.
Well, let's do it one at a time. Okay.
This is a picture. This is a moment we can't let this go by without
Okay, let's have the dog go first. You ready? Whoops. Okay, Violet. Oops. Okay, go ahead, Caroline. Oh, Molly? Oh, Molly. Okay, try one more.
Come on, let's do it. Yeah.
And Matthias?
Hi.
All right, thank you. Now you can go sit down and we'll show the grown-ups. Oh, boy. Oh. Oh. How about that? There you, oh, well. How about that, huh? Hey, did anybody laugh? I think a lot of people laughed. They did, Teddy. Gosh, Lee, I'm going to hand this back to you, I think. Well, what I am really glad and grateful to Gayla for bringing that marvelous toy in. There are Christmas miracles like saved time for all ages some mornings. And the nose. But the important thing to remember is what we learned this morning. Sometimes we laugh because what we don't think is going to happen happens. Like, how often does the minister put reindeer antlers on her head and have people throw rings on them? Not often. But also that when we laugh, usually that can make other people laugh too. So laughter is contagious. It's catching. And that's a really good thing to remember. Okay? So will you remember that? Ho, 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 ho. Why don't, as you leave today, why don't you all try to pretend you got a big belly and go, ho, 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 ho. Let me hear it. Ho, 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 ho. Okay, and we're going to sing Go Now in Peace as you ho, 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 ho your way to Sunday Adventures. All right. That was the most important part of the service. Okay. As we listen to the solo, if you have a joy or concern, please do write it down, and we will share them after the solo.
Of flower of praise.
It is a joy to have Gabrielle singing for us today, and I love that she's already done 2 songs with Gabriel in the title. If there are joys or concerns that you would like to bring forward, please hold them up, and the ushers will collect them. I would like to report that Sandy Peavy's procedure went well this week, for which we are delighted, and Bernie's hoping she'll be home relatively soon. And also that Baba continues his improvement. It's not a straight road, but it is a good road that he is on, and so we hold him close in our hearts. In addition, I would like to express a joy that I now have this wonderful little thing I've hung off the side of my chair because my niece in Colorado watched the pageant last week, and she said, "Steph, you don't have a place to put your water bottle or a hymn book." So she very thoughtfully sent me this little strap-on bag, and I'm pretty touched by that. Well, we have a lot of joys here, but I will start with a concern. A prayer for an old friend mourning for her son who died this past summer. She's having a hard time this Christmas season, and of course, we hold all who grieve at this time in our hearts. And though we feel great joy and promise, we wish peace for them and the knowledge that love changes but never, ever ends. Here is a joy and a concern for all the high school seniors getting college notifications. Oh, what a time of year. Please be with all the stress or sadness in their hearts. It is quite a time for these youngsters, and it is good that they are supported. It is a joy to celebrate the holidays this afternoon at Artemis Home. May we not appear on the news. No, it doesn't say that. It is a joy that my family will soon be back together, even if for a short time, one of the joys of our holidays. Filled with gratitude, joy, and love for the network of love, concern, and help that results in miracles in people's lives, in my life. Thank you, whoever wrote that, because certainly it is wonderful what love can accomplish. And finally, a joy for friends. The people, not the TV show. May we hold all of these joys and concerns in our hearts as we sing together Spirit of Life, which you will find in your order of service. We will stay seated as we sing, and then we will pray and reflect together. Spirit of Life, known by many names, served by many hands, held in many hearts. As we draw closer to Christmas Day, may we feel the joy and hope of its promise. May we feel grateful for the chance we have to share in helping today through packing for the food pantry. We would have laughter open our hearts with kindness and humility, recognizing how laughter brings us all together as it reduces, in part, our individual sense of control and importance. It is good to feel humility, especially at this time of year. It is good to think of a birth in a barn or a cave, as some traditions place it, where the raw essentials of life confront and may even comfort us. It is good to accept who and what we truly are. While we may wrestle with mysteries that transcend the power of our senses and our science to explain, we know we are truly gifted by our capacity to love and our ability to laugh even when that love rends our hearts and that laughter leads to tears. It is the miracle of feeling, of participating in the divergent demands of human life that allows us to enter into appreciation and wonder and beautiful connection beyond words. May we embrace all that is our life in the echo of the bell as we pray, reflect, and meditate. And now may we say together the words of the Lord's Prayer as revised by Parker Palmer, which you will find in your order of service. Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, holy and blessed is your name. We pray for your reign of peace to come. We pray that your good will be done. Let heaven and earth become one. Give us this day the bread we need. Give it to those who have none. Let forgiveness flow like a river between us, from each one to each one. Lead us to holy innocence beyond the evil of our days. Come swiftly, Mother, Father, come. For yours is the power and the glory and the mercy. Forever your name is all in one. And now we will take the offering for the good work of this church. How much we appreciate being together, being able to lift our voices and our spirits, and how fine it is, the many ways in which you support the work of this church with your spirit and with your treasure. Thank you.
Once as I remember, at the time of youth, after mid-December,
I invite you to stand as we sing together the doxology, which you will find in your order of service. Please be seated. Our reading this morning comes from A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And it is the speech, or one of the speeches, that Scrooge's nephew Fred makes to him when he comes to wish him a Merry Christmas. And he says this: "I have always thought of Christmas time as a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. The only time I know of in the long calendar of the year when men and women seem by one consent to open their shut-up hearts freely and to think of people below them as if they really were fellow passengers to the grave, not another race of creatures bound on other journeys. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good and will do me good. And I say, God bless it." Sure reveals that British class structure, doesn't it? All those people below them. But that's another sermon, not the one I'm about to give. The one I'm about to give deals with the fact that we live in an angry world. And we live in an angry time. Even though part of the world pauses for special holidays like Christmas, like Kwanzaa, like Hanukkah at this time of year. And on top of that, by meeting together in this church, we know that there are some people who see us as being connected to an angry institution, because anger appears in different faiths through intolerance spewed by the left and the right, and sometimes the silence of the middle. In addition, given how Nathaniel Hawthorne described our direct religious ancestors in The Scarlet Letter and other works, we can even be seen as historically joyless and angry. It really is too bad that people don't understand that here at Second Parish, we had pink and blue elephant angels in our Christmas pageant, that we had a stuffed gorilla as one of our wise men, that our children mixed up all the ingredients for the pageant in a kiddie pool, serving as a mixing bowl before the great Christmas pageant bake-off, that we celebrated the Christmas story with joy and laughter, triumphant. And you know, doing so doesn't mean that we lack reverence or appreciation of mysteries. Rather, that too often people misunderstand that church, especially at Christmas time, must heed G.K. Chesterton's observation that, quote, "Life is serious all of the time, but living cannot be. You may have all the solemnity you wish in your neckties, but in anything important, such as sex, death, and religion, you must have mirth, or you will have madness," end quote. Now, I may be a minister in what some view as a relatively renegade religion called Unitarian Universalism. But even my more religiously conservative Christian colleagues can't deny that joy and laughter serve as an integral part of life as explored in the Bible. Sarah, wife of Abraham, laughed when she learned she was pregnant well after her childbearing years. And when that child was born, she named her son Isaac, which means laughter. Job, well known for all the tragedies that he suffered, was told that, quote, God will once again fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with shouts of joy, end quote. You'll like this one. The wisdom book Ecclesiastes from the Hebrew Testament recommends, quote, having fun, because there is nothing better for people in this world than to eat, drink, and enjoy life. That way they will experience some happiness along with all the hard work God gives them under the sun, end quote. And the Hebrew prophet Isaiah said, you will live in joy and peace. The mountains and the hills will burst into song, and the trees of the field will clap their hands. And the apostle Luke in the Christian Testament predicted, you will have great joy and gladness. So yes, we may live in an angry time and find community in a space that might be perceived as angry, but the fact of the matter is that along with all the trials and the mysteries and the challenges of life, we can, in fact, we must claim joy and laughter, blessings and delight as part of our background. I think Anne Lamott puts it best in our centering thought when she points out that laughter is carbonated holiness, a fizzy kind of holiness, possibly silly or goofy, tossing rings on antlers, but something that expands the concept of faith to be something both reverent and irreverent. And that is so important to remember at Christmas time. And it is something that Charles Dickens understood when he wrote A Christmas Carol, a short piece of fiction that helped to redefine Christmas for a more modern world. Dickens understood the carbonated holiness of laughter and its far-reaching importance in many ways. But today I'm particularly interested in how he treats it in the character of Fred, Scrooge's nephew. Now, if I asked for a show of hands, I don't think many people would raise their hand to say Fred was their most memorable character in A Christmas Carol. We more vividly might remember Ebenezer Scrooge, or Tiny Tim, or even Bob Cratchit. But Fred is a character well defined by his actions. And the first notable one is how he comes to wish his Uncle Scrooge a happy Christmas and invite him to dinner. Fred knows, even before he makes the offer, that the invitation will be declined. It will be scorned. All this has happened before. Any of us who might have an unpleasant relative understand the commitment that it takes to repeatedly encounter not only rejection, but also rudeness. Scrooge berates Fred for his lifestyle, for falling in love, but rather than ignore Scrooge or snap back at him, Fred engages Scrooge with calm and logical reasoning that, quite frankly, probably infuriates Scrooge. Most importantly, Fred defends Christmas, as we heard in our reading, pointing out that Christmas gives people an opportunity to open their shut-up hearts. He gives Scrooge a chance to open his heart, just as Fred once again opens his own heart to his difficult uncle. It's no small gesture, especially given how Scrooge snaps back at him, consigning anyone offering Christmas wishes to be boiled and buried with a stake through their heart. That, at the time, was a punishment reserved for vampires. A pretty nasty response. And on top of that, Scrooge levels a curse at Fred that was too terrible to be printed in full. And when A Christmas Carol got into the theaters, it could not be said on the stage. I never understood that until I got my hands on the annotated Christmas Carol. And I realized that that line, Scrooge said that he would see him dash, would have been completed by the people of the 19th century as Scrooge saying that he would see him damned and in hell first. Pretty strong language for a family R-rated Christmas story. But this nastiness does not deter Fred. It doesn't dampen his spirits, and he leaves without an angry word. I'll be honest, I'm not sure I could have resisted saying something. I would have thought myself witty, no doubt, but I would have engaged to my shame, even if I realized that it wouldn't do any good. It's Fred's comment about the open heart that he consistently succeeds in putting into action. And we might better understand how he accomplishes this from his second appearance in the story. This happens when Scrooge, in the company of Christmas Present, visits Fred at his house where he's giving a party. And the scene opens with Fred laughing at his memory of Scrooge calling Christmas a humbug. Fred's not angry. He's not disappointed. He's amused. Significantly, Fred has quite a laugh, one that the narrator describes by saying, quote, "If you should happen by any unlikely chance to know a man more blessed in laugh than Scrooge's nephew, all I can say is I should like to know him too." The ability to laugh rather than get pulled into an argument or into anger, or the unpacking of emotional baggage, which happens so often in families, does serve Fred very well. The theologian Roy Eckert tells us that in the depths of authentic humor, everyone stands forgiven. That's what humor comes down to, really, forgiveness. And how could it not? Revealing as it does our shared humanity. Able to forgive his cursing, miserly uncle, Fred can laugh. And what really astonishes me is he doesn't laugh at Scrooge. He laughs at the ridiculousness of Scrooge's attitude. Dickens is thus able to comment that, quote, "It is a fair, even-handed, noble adjustment of things that while there is infection in diseases and sorrow, there is nothing in the world so irresistibly contagious as laughter and good humor." When Scrooge's nephew laughed in this way, holding his sides, rolling his head, and twisting his face into the most extravagant contortions, Scrooge's niece, by marriage, laughed as heartily as he, and other assembled friends, being not a bit behindhand, roared out lustily, end quote. I think it's very reassuring to think of laughter and goodwill as contagious. Should we send the Three Stooges abroad? And Fred's further declaration of Scrooge's attitude only makes Scrooge miserable. Scrooge is the one who suffers. Fred's attitude reveals how laughter has helped Fred distance himself from the nastiness. Later in that same visit of Scrooge and the Ghost of Christmas Present, Fred and his wife and guests engage in a game of what is called yes or no. We might call it 20 questions, where everybody's trying to think of what animal or vegetable or mineral you're thinking of, and you can only answer yes and no. And Fred answers honestly that the animal he's thinking of is alive, disagreeable, savage, and more, until finally someone guesses, it's Uncle Scrooge. Now, here's where we come closest to perhaps laughing at Scrooge in a mean way, but Fred stops it. He's answered these questions honestly, not maliciously, and then when they guess that it's Scrooge, Fred invites everyone to toast Scrooge, who has offered them such merriment. Fred is realistic, but he's also forgiving and appreciative of what Scrooge can offer to Christmas. And significantly, as Scrooge watches this scene unfold, what he wants to do is to pledge to the company in return. He wants to toast them. He wants to say, thank you for thinking of me. I am impressed how Fred keeps Scrooge present in his thoughts and the thoughts of others. And I credit Fred's good nature with creating joy of what could easily descend into satire and resentment. Adolf Bastian, a 19th century polymath who greatly influenced Carl Jung, wrote that, quote, laughter brings people together and dissolves differences and hatreds. It creates a commonality amongst the participants, end quote. And Fred's laughter seeks to do just that. What some might call his delight in the irreverent has deeper implications than laughter alone. It offers us something to think about in terms of how powerful humor can be, not only in forgiveness, but in the next step of bringing people together. And here I just have to pause and tell you that when my husband was alive and we ever got into discussions, and I would be the one who would be more angry, because he rarely got angry, he would reach over to me as if I had a tire valve sticking out of my stomach, and he would go, psst. And I couldn't help but laugh. And once I laughed, there wasn't going to be any more anger or discussion. Fred knows this in A Christmas Carol. And ultimately, we see it in Fred's final appearance in the story when Scrooge appears at his home for dinner on Christmas Day. He doesn't greet his uncle with that dour response Robert Frost writes into The Death of the Hired Man. You know that famous line, home is the place where when you have to go there, they have to take you in. Scrooge finds his nephew not dutiful but delighted to see him, shaking his hand, and Dickens describes that it was a mercy he didn't shake his arm off. He was at home in 5 minutes. So yes, in these difficult, angry times, Scrooge's nephew has much to teach us about dealing with those who are angry. Contemporary author Nikki Rowe tells us that the greatest asset you can own is an open heart. And certainly Fred shows us the true benefit of an open heart. Such an open heart admits mysteries, differences, trust in greater truths. As Madeleine L'Engle reminds us in our responsive reading, finite answers are not sufficient, but rather a threat to joy and laughter. Before his experience with the three ghosts, Scrooge has finite answers, and they leave him without laughter. They leave him miserable. Fred, with his easy humor, remains open to differences and to others' humanity. He thus demonstrates what Susan G. Sparks contends in her statement, that humor empowers the necessary leap of faith that allows us to transcend the need for answers. Laughter and joy render us open to what life shows us. At Christmas time, we need Scrooge's nephew, Fred, to remind us of such things. And Charles Dickens understood that laughter is, as he put it, an essential duty for the pious, for he saw it as the most formidable weapon against the world's evil. May we embrace humor and laughter as a beautiful gift to celebrate the world's good. With that in mind, we will close with hymn number 231, Angels We Have Heard on High, and not to get away from the laughter theme, but for Steve, my late husband, this was the Oreo song, because instead of singing glory, he would sing Oreo. And I invite you to do that if you wish. I invite you to rise and body your spirit as we sing number 231. Please be seated. I'd like to remind you that after refueling at coffee hour, you may come back in the sanctuary where we will pack produce for the food pantry. I would like to thank our youngest participant for being so delightful and such a good little one. I would have loved a joyful noise too, but thank you very much for being so special. And let me leave you with this. Go forward with an open heart. Spread the laughter and the joy that can lead to the shared and thriving peace that embraces our differences and our individuality in communities of hope and love. Amen.